Hello, good morning, and happy Friday. Work from home day, so we get to play before work because we don't have to rush off anywhere, which is awesome. Cheers, coffee. Got the birds chirping in the background. Okay, today, I think we should play with some modeling paste, some tags, stencils, and some distress sprays, oxide sprays. I've got a spray stain. Actually, I don't know if this spray stain is, oh yes, mixed with water. Perfect. Let's see. I don't have a lot. I have these 4 colors, and I got this little pack that has hickory smoke, vintage photo, and walnut stain. So we're a little limited in our colors, but that's okay. I think we can still have a good time and get some good effects. So let's jump in. And I'm thinking we could even stick 2 together and make our tags with pockets. And then maybe a little tag might fit inside. We might have to shorten it, but anyway, we'll figure it out, guys. We will figure it out. So let's just jump right in. Got some wax paper here and parchment. Not wax paper, it's parchment paper. So we don't make super huge giant mess. So we need to decide what stencil we want to start with. I've got some letters, I've got some script, I've got this pretty kind of floral design, and then I've got, I believe, if I'm correct, all of these are from Temu except for, I've got one Tim Holtz that I got at Joann's a long time ago. So what I'm looking for in my stencil is I want something that's going to have enough detail that the spray, when we spray it with water, is going to give really cool effect, and have all the dark background. Well, we'll do it. We'll do it and we'll show you. Okay, let's just make a decision because we don't need to be flim-flammy about all of this. Okay, how about we start, let's start with the flowers. I have these tags. I got them from Paper Studio. They're pretty thick. They're not cardboard or chipboard or anything, but they're pretty thick. So I'm going to use this, and I'm just going to go right in with the modeling paste. Liquitex acrylic medium modeling paste. New purchase because my other stuff was basically concrete. And I like this because it's very whipped. So I'm really pleased with this. So I'm going to go straight in. If you don't have a, oh goodness, I can't even think of what this is called. Palette knife. If you don't have a palette knife, use a credit card, use a piece of cardboard. Anything that with a flat edge will work. And we're just going to go straight in and start spreading. You want to make sure you get it all the way down into all the crevices. Got a little ink on here or something that's pulling along with it, which is fine. I don't care. Now, a trick. If you want to press it down to get it in, but when you're skimming over the top, if you go, the more pressure you have, the closer you're going to get to the what do I want to call it? The thickness of your actual stencil. If you want to make it thicker, just don't press so hard. Skim it, and there we go. Not too shabby. You know what I forgot? I did not bring, one of the tricks when you're doing this, when you're working with modeling paste, this stuff dries pretty quick. Have have a little, you know, Tupperware full of water or something. Just set these in. It won't dry. It won't ruin your stencils. And then you can wash them when you're all done. Because who wants to get up in the middle of what you're doing to wash a stencil? Not very fun. Let me go grab that real quick and I will be right back. Okay. Now that we've got that taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and close this up because it'll be a few minutes before we need it again. All right. And I'm going to hit this with some heat to start the drying process. Doesn't have to be fully dry, but you do want to be able to touch it. Let's see, let's smooth out any edges. We don't want any. The other thing you can do if you forget to smooth out the edges is go around it with like a nail file. That works really good. Okay, now let's see. Ooh. I got an old shirt on this time, guys. What colors do we want to do? All right, let's start. Let's just go right to town, guys. Let's go in with frayed burlap. I've got my sprayer here. Ooh, I think it's gonna be pretty. Let's get that real good. Lots of color, and maybe we'll add some vintage. Well, that's a lot. All right, now let's get some water on there to get it moving. And let's just start moving it around. Now, we might get muddy. This is my first time with this technique, so we might get muddy. And that, whoops, or just, you know, make a big mess. Also, okay, we're playing, we're learning. This time I at least remembered to bring the paper towels. And we can do as many layers as we want. Right. Get it on the edge there, soak up any big stains here. All right, and we're just gonna do some little drying between. Not completely dry. I want to come in with the paper towel and see what happens if I just dab a little. Well, here's what I didn't think about. What I'm noticing is because we added more water, that rehydrated essentially our modeling paste. So I don't want to make too big of a mess. So let's go ahead and dry. Next time I dry, I'll pause you. You don't want to watch that. That's not that interesting. All right, so pretty dry. Look at, I'm going to pop up here so I can show you some of the details of this effect. We've got some spaces where it didn't soak all the way in, or where maybe I picked it up. Lots of interesting and pretty details on that. So far, very pleased. Now, shall we add some areas that are a little darker? Let's put some walnut stain in. What I've got to learn about this is to not get too caught up in trying to get it to go where I think it should go. That effect's pretty nice. Right now we're just looking for some variation. All right, let's dry that up. Okay, that dried nice and dark. Now, let's take a peek and see if we can put some droplets on there. Let it reactivate a little. Give it a moment to soak in, and then let's see what we can get. It gives that nice oxidation and even more texture. Let's see, did we miss any? I like it. Tell me that doesn't look, that looks fancy. Yes, I like it. All right, so we're gonna make a few backgrounds and then we're gonna do something fun with them. So next, let's just keep on going. Having a play, doing an experiment, seeing what we got going on here. Now, here's what I'm thinking maybe this is not the best. Let's see, let's keep this. That will dry, we can use that. I'm thinking that this paper is not what we really want. I think we want some scrap paper. And where did I put it? Okay. That way we can quickly swap it out. Don't have to wipe it up. It's a little wasteful, guys. I know it's a little wasteful. That fell. Oh, no, that's just the reinforcement. Well, look, we made a mess. No worries. How about one with a little more color? Let's do, okay, we did the flowers. How about some text this time? I don't want the alchemy word, but maybe some of that's, no, let's just go straight text. Let's not try to get too crazy here. One thing about this is it's a little harder to see the edge of your tag, but that's okay. We'll figure it out. Shall we pull this back? Let's do a little bit thicker this time. So I'm going to start in, I'm going to get it pushed way down, and then I'll show you what we can do to make it a little thicker if we want even more depth. We want to make sure that we get it all the way in there. Just the rest. Okay, to the edges, all the way in. Can't see the top, but I'm pretty sure that's covered. Okay, so now we've got it flat. We're going to have the same depth at this point as the thickness of our stencil. So now we just go through with a lighter touch. And we just add a little more. Now you're not going to, because it's thicker at this point, you're not going to see the stencil as clearly as we did before because it's under a thicker layer of modeling paste. But when you peel it up, I'm going to do it slowly. Oh, it's kind of stuck. Come on, gravity, help me out here. There we go. You can see now that we have a deeper layer of modeling paste. I am going to wipe this a little bit before I put it in the water. Not that you have to, but soaked. All right. Good and soaked. All right. I'm going to hit again with the dryer and I'll be right back. Okay. You know, the other nice thing here about doing it on the paper is when you're drying and you want to know is it done or not, but you don't want to risk smearing this, just check it out over here. It's mostly dry and you can see it's flaking off a little bit. Now I'm making a big mess. All right, how about a blue and a gray? Let's start with blue and gray and see what we can end up with for this. So with the oxides, you got to shake them up real good before you start. What I've seen is if you turn it over and you see it moving off the bottom, that means it's well mixed. It's got that pigment and the dye and pigment combination, so you got to get it mixed back up. All right. Let's get a good amount of that. Clearly my things need to be cleaned. All right, let's get that moving around a little bit. A little bit of water, a little bit of movement. More water. This one might end up being a little more subtle. Got a little bit of a pool here. Let's see if we can just dab some of that up. This one might take more layers, but that's okay. Let's dry this one and see what we got. All right, that turned out pretty nice. More subtle as we expected. It's not completely 100% dry, so, but that's okay. I'm thinking, do we need a little bit of brown in there? Maybe, let's do vintage photo, but since we know it sprays a lot, let's just add some in various locations. And then we'll spray it and see. Maybe a little more down in one corner. Let's see what we end up with. I shouldn't get too much on there because we know we can always add more, right? Let's get that moving around. Spreading a little bit. Don't dab yet. Let's see what we got. Oh, geez, I forgot to pause you. I'm sorry, guys. All right, we're still a little damp with the, on the modeling paste. But I think I'm going to leave that like that. I think that's pretty. Looks pretty good. We'll let it completely, we'll set it off to the side so it can dry completely. I'll flip this guy over and let's play with some more. What do we want to do for this one? Let's grab more stencils. What about the crackle? That might make a pretty background. Let's start with, ooh, and then we'll do, yeah. Okay, let's start with some crackle. And grab our modeling paste. This one, I think, will go relatively close to the size. Now, it'll be interesting to see what this does, because it's going to pull some of that brown from the back, that's already on this stencil. So we're going to get some color right from the start, which does not bother me one bit. Dump that in the water. Oh, I think my dog wants to join us. Coming in, pup? Come on. Well, come on. Oh, Calvin too. Come on, Calv. All right, we got a couple of visitors. Let's see if they're gonna be good. Probably not. And again, with me forgetting to pause. Sorry, folks. All right, now I am gonna dry this and I'm gonna pause ya, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, where'd our frayed burlap go? I wanna start with this again. I love this color. Now, let's just put more. Let's just see what we can get here. Let's deepen that up. Let's see how dark we can make that. That looks really cool, if we can get it to dry. Let me see what happens here. Just in case you're interested and want to see, let's just do it together. So one of the things I'm doing here is I'm using the air from my heat tool to kind of move this around. That's another little trick you can do. Okay, so that obviously takes quite a bit longer to dry. And I don't even think it's fully dry yet. It doesn't look like it, no. But we've got that nice, darker, I can't see what I'm doing here. This nice, darker outline. Let's see what happens if we spray it with some water. Droplets, though, not mist. Let's let that go for a moment. You can see it pulling up the, oh, it got almost a blue. Is this an oxide? Oh, yes, it is. That's pretty. Let's see here. I like that bluish. Let's add some more. Oops. That was a lot. Why am I having such a hard time doing drops, guys? Struggling. All right. It's a bluey gray. Super cool. I like that effect. Do I want more? Let's put some purple on here and see what happens. It's Victorian velvet, but it's really more pinky than purple. Let's get that to move around. I don't know how much I like that. It looks a little bit like, well, it's better when you, okay. When you pull it up, then I like that color. It was looking a little bit murderous there for a while. That's better. All right, let's do some more of that. Let it soak in just a touch, and it gets really cool effect as it re-wets the stuff underneath. Okay. See how that looks. It does end up a nice pink. All right, I'm gonna hit this again. That is super grungy. I like it. I like it. Let's hit this again. Okay, this ended up even cooler. Let's see if I can get it to focus. Yeah. Even cooler at the end. There's subtle gray blues. Love it. All right. How about maybe we'll do one or two more? It's so fun once you get started because it's quick and you end up with something that's like, oh, hey, that's a beautiful background. How about some green? That's just greens and browns. I just love the brown base. It just makes it real cool, in my opinion. Let's see, we need a stencil. Let's do the stone. I think I would like it better. This will give us more. Let's do a stone with some splatter. There's not enough stone to do the whole thing, but now we could move it, but I know myself better than that. We'll do the stone with a little bit of splatter on the top. Now let's no. We're going to try something different, but it's not going to be what I was initially thinking. So let's get our modeling paste. With the bigger stencil holes, you got to be a little more careful that you don't get too fast, because it's the paste itself that's holding the stencil in place. I don't want to miss any spots. Looks like I had something on there, which is fine. I'm going to grab some of this from the edge. From the edge. Going a little slower here. All right. So now, what I want to try, oh, missed a spot. No, it doesn't have to be perfect. So what am I doing that for? Okay. before, let's try something a little different. Before we remove our stencil, add some water here to this so I can wipe it a little bit. These things dry so quick. It's not a bad idea to put this in water too, which I'm going to do right now. All right. Let's spray it before we remove our stencil and see what we end up with. That will be then our, let's just go for it. We need to not think too much. That's a lot. Okay. Holy cow, did I make a mess? All right. I'm going to dry it first and see what happens then when we take it off and add other colors on top. Okay. I didn't go full on dry because I didn't want to completely dry the modeling paste onto my stencil. That's not fully dry. Oh, struggle. Okay, now. All right, now we're gonna finish drying. It shouldn't take much. Okay. Now this might just end up making a big mess. No idea. One word of caution. If you're using a heat tool and you have your plastic stencil still on, you want to heat from a good distance. It's going to take longer. Otherwise, you're going to melt your stencil and then you'll be sad. And we don't want any sad crafting. Okay, let's throw some green and see what happens. And we're going to see if we can get it to run down through our cracks. A little bit. Oh, right, this is, I forgot this oxide turns very yellow when it gets wet. I'm gonna put a couple more, no, let's dry it first. Quick hit. I like to pause so I don't waste your guys' time. However, there is some value also in seeing how long things take for real. I like this variation in darkness. I'm thinking I want a little bit of walnut stain, maybe in the around the edges. Dab off some extras. I'm gonna scooch this to a little bit cleaner spot. I don't even know that I finished my thought. yes, I like to pause so I don't waste your guys' time, but there is value in seeing how long something actually takes. Because I have definitely done that with projects where I'm like, oh, this will, look, it takes 20 minutes. No, no, it really does not. So, ooh, look at those layers coming out. Adding a little water. I'm having a hard time with my droplets for some reason. Probably because I'm overthinking it. Let's let that just become beautiful for a moment. I like it when you can see the color change as you're working. It's really helpful. All right, shall we dab? Love it. I like the different tones and all the fun stuff. All right, so that one's not quite as dark in the background, but we have very dark ones. So maybe we just call that good and yeah, let's leave that one. Any other variations we want to do before we put the modeling paste away? Let's do another all brown because I really do love that. Why not? We've got it out. Let's just keep going. It don't take long. Get that out of the way because it's getting too squashy. This time we're gonna go all out with layers of brown. So, what one do we want? That's very similar to the one we just did. How about some letters? How about some letters? We could get them closer together, or we could do them, let's do them sideways. That looks pretty nice. It's a nice fit. We'll have some space in the center, but that's okay. All right, let's do this. Or we could do this and have letters and numbers. Yep. Let's do that. I do want to keep this semi-straight just because it'll look a little funny, I think, if we're super crooked. So let's go with this. Oh, I put my dry off my palette knife quick. All right, so my palette knife's a little wet, so doesn't hurt anything. It just is going to thin out the modeling paste a little bit. Make sure that we are going all directions so we have everything covered. I think we are good. All right, toss that in there, close this up. It's gonna be our last one. Because we do have real jobs that we have to go to today. Okay. Oh, I like the little dots. I didn't even think about the dots, but I like them. All right. Quick pause and hitting with heat. Okay, we're going to town. We're gonna go walnut stain, and we're just gonna start spraying stuff everywhere. See, this frayed burlap is so pretty. All right, let's get this stuff moving. And what if this time, instead of drying it right away, we dab it right away? Let's see what that does. Since we're experimenting and playing around, I'm sure it will give some sort of effect. Oh yeah, just subtle. We just picked a lot of it up. Got some lightness going on there. All right, that works. This and more frayed burlap, because why not? This frayed burlap is so rich. All right, now we are gonna dry it. Quick dry. Man, guys, I hit the wrong button. Ugh. All right, we're gonna see if we can piece it together. Almost done here. Little vintage. And how about more frayed burlap? And then once we get all the colors on, then let's get this just moving. Moving and beautiful. All over the place. We might make it muddy, but we're gonna see. All right, let's just hit that with the dryer. All right, now this is a pretty cool effect. I almost don't want to hit it with any more water because it looks almost like metal at this point. Now what we could do, if we want a couple to stand out, let's try this. I'm gonna get a baby wipe. I'm gonna add some water to it because it's dry. And I am just going to carefully wipe over, oops. Yeah, that's one thing you can do if you don't want it to be splattery. Let's see if we can lighten up the R here. We totally can. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Maybe I don't want to lighten the 3 because it's really cool. How about the 1? Let's just do a quick wipe over the 1. Make that stand out. Love it. Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, gotta get ready for work. So let's see what we did. We'll have to make something with them in the next video. But let's see what we've got so far. I'm gonna have to wipe this. What a disastrous mess. That's okay. We have, and they're a little, this one's still a little damp. That's okay. But here are all of our fun backgrounds that we made in, you know, like an hour. And I'm sure that as people get more used to it, by people, I mean me and you, it'll go quicker. But what a bunch of lovely, interesting, I'm blocking some light there, guys. Lovely, interesting, and backgrounds for our tags. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you feel inspired to give this a try, and we will see you all again next time. Bye.